Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll. I've been assessing the damage from our hail, which mostly is just leaves knocked all over the ground. And then a few of my plants have holes in their leaves and are ripped. But it could have been a whole lot worse, so we're doing fine with it. And I enjoyed a day off yesterday, not having to water, so that's great. Hope you're enjoying your summer. I'm just feeling a little tired and listless today for some reason. I don't know. I've been trying to diet and I lost a little bit and then I just gained it all back for no reason. I didn't overeat. I don't know what the deal is. I keep saying, well, maybe in a little bit it'll all, go back away again and it'll be fine, but it doesn't seem like that's happening at all. I just can't lose weight or anything, but I mean that's not the most important thing in life, I guess. And honestly, if I had to just eat a health bar twice a day for the rest of my life, and I wouldn't choose that, or be fat. So I guess in a way I choose to be fat, but not really. I just think there ought to be a easier way. But anyway, that's my little rant for the day. I just these little leaves right here, you can tell they got ripped by the hail. There's quite a few things like that. I probably should get out here and take those off so that the others can grow pretty and healthy. There's so many things I need to do and I just don't feel like doing them. I just don't. So I hope I do get around to doing quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done, but at this point I really don't know. It's just, summer is just so hard. It makes you not feel like doing anything when you're just hot and tired and listless and whatever. But well, you see me all happy out here and excited about every little thing, so I guess you get to see me the other way today. But I'll get back there, the Lord willing, and I know He is willing that we be happy. I noticed this little begonia this morning is draping over its edge and hanging down and just looking so good. And then yesterday I purchased some more plants, like I needed to do that. But I had a spot where I thought I wanted them. And look at this beautiful burgundy spike. Usually they're around $6. This one was I want to say 99 cents, but I think it might have even been less than that. And I don't see its tag right now. I took the tag off, but I think it was either 89 or 99 cents. So you can still find some wonderful bargains if you have any energy to put them in, which I don't. But I had a spot for these, I thought, and then I went out and where I was going to put them, my Sweet William had all dried up at the tops, and so I just was going to take them up. But when I got out there and clipped all the tops off, I realized that the bottom part of them were still doing great, actually. And I love the Sweet William, and I like it in that pot, so I think I'll just leave it as is, and it'll just be a little green pot without color. But now that means I have to find some place to put these. But look at this. Okay, I had to set this little plant right here over beside it, but see, it has that little burgundy circle around it. How pretty it goes with that burgundy spike. So I'm hoping to be able to find some place to put those. And I know that these little vinca and verbena, surely I can find some places for those. Any place where something else has died out or a snail has killed it. This little vinca right here is looking really good too. So cherry and pretty. But I want to get this this taken care of. Just too much easier to tell you about it than it is to get out here and do it. But hopefully I will at some point before it's too late get out here and do it, because I don't want to just let them sit here and continue on where they were going, which is why they were put on sale, because they have to have more soil around them, and they have to be in a spot where they can grow and be watered and taken care of. Here's some more damage on the leaves, and some of this may all be from the hail, but it also may be from a grasshopper, because I've noticed several out here getting after it. And I did sprinkle down some eliminator for that purpose, but I still notice a few of them, and I'm not really ready to put more down right now. Some of these little scraggly looking pots, I may be able to put a few more things in, but also I'm thinking that I probably put some seed in there, and I would love to have zinnias, at least the little container size zinnias, and actually I want some of each size if I can get them to come up. And I have planted them. I've noticed a few coming up in places, but not in this pot, so I may go ahead and plant some in this one, or plant some actual of those plants that I just got through showing you in this one. Yeah, I saw a little lace. I think it's called a lace wing butterfly. There it is. Not wanting to be still for me to get its picture though, so I guess I'll give up. While the flowers are still so pretty to look at, the heat is just so oppressive to be in. I see one of my castor beans is coming up. I think that's the only one. I didn't plant a whole lot because I never want more than two. I don't want all those seeds to have to get rid of, but they're so pretty. I do enjoy having one or two. And there beside it, of course, is a pear from my pear tree. But these get, oh, I really don't even know how tall they get. Mine have gotten up to like at least 7 foot tall, and they have a beautiful, this one is a red, and some of them are not really a reddish color. They're kind of a tinted of a deep purple, but they're both very pretty. The foliage when it gets tall, and these big old leaves just are eye-catching. Yesterday was also the first day our Texas star of pink hibiscus bloomed. Once it starts, it keeps putting on a show for quite some time. Remember me showing you this that I started for a friend? Look how much it's taken off. I'm guessing it's built a little root, and it'll only go forward and upward and more beautiful from today. And then this is the one that I took just in case that one didn't. And this one had a root. It didn't have to build its root. But it certainly did a good job to transplant it into this, and hopefully it will when she transplants it to the place she wants it to. My sister's, on the other hand, it has lost leaves, but look at those. They're still very healthy, and if it's building its root right now, it will still be great, and I'll be able to give that to her. I also did just clip off some of the old tattered and torn and raggedy leaves from the hail, which made my little copper plant look so much smaller. Oh gosh, and I did not get it all either. That one looks terrible too. I'm going to take that off of there also, matter of fact, right while I'm doing it. So hopefully it will have a chance to grow from there and be beautiful again. It doesn't take them long. Once you get the old bad spots off of them, they usually can go right on. So hopefully it will. And after I clipped off all the dead parts, I put the little pieces in this pot, or these two pots. So we'll see how they will do. If they don't do anything, I haven't really lost anything, and they could very well take off and become a beautiful plant on their own by the end of the season. Which got me to thinking about my mood and the depression of the heat. But that's just another thing where the garden is just like life. Sometimes we just have to get through those hard days that we don't feel our purpose and we don't feel our drive and ambition and all the things we normally feel and want to feel. But we've got to hold on, just like the garden has to hold on, and we have to try to help it as much as we can, water it and take care of it, so that truly when the fall season gets started again, it'll be here and ready to shine again. So I'm going to try to keep my mood as up as I can in this heat and get as much as I can get done, even in the heat, and then just hope for the best and hope that we'll all come out ahead this fall when things get better. Some of my coleus need clipping back, but I'm going to try to wait until it's cooler, because I can always root them someplace else where they might be needed. But if I try that in this heat, they'll be just like me. They're just not really going to make it. They'll try, but you know, sometimes all the trying we can do is just not enough. Which is actually another thing that lets me know that I need you. I need some people to jump on my little bandwagon and get right in my garden via YouTube, the YouTube channel Garden Scroll, and just join in with me and enjoy the garden with me and watch our struggles turn into joys when we see those beautiful flowers blooming. And truly, no matter how much I do, if I don't get recognition and acceptance for what I'm doing it for, then I'm only really just doing it for myself and for the Lord. He impressed upon my heart to do this, and I know He did. Even though I do truly enjoy it, even maybe not right now in this hot heat part of the season, and it's the longest part of the season. The other two are so short, so it can get depressing. But if you can even just get out here and do this and then look at them in the cool, it cheers you up. It makes you realize the beauty that God has for us and His love for us and just many good things. I can't believe these little bells of Ireland, how pretty they are. I used to think I couldn't grow these. I can't believe I finally did. I'm glad I kept trying. And they came from seed. I put them in my seed box where I can watch them better. I have put them in the ground before, in with my other flowers, and for some reason they just kind of get overlooked because you forget where they are. But the ones that I put in my seed box, I actually forgot what they were, and I didn't know what I had growing there for some time, and then I realized what it was, and then this year they simply came back from the seed that they put down last year. I didn't even plant them, so that's really amazing. Those are some of the wonderful things you get to see happening in the garden. And I'm seeing just right over here that I have a bloom I didn't realize I had when I was out here earlier, but this little hibiscus bloom right here, this is blooming, and I think, yes, it does have, it has a dark pink center. Isn't that pretty? My friend Oma gave this to me, actually. It's nice to see it blooming. This little daylily is about gone. It looks like there's only one more little bud there, but this is one of my favorite daylilies. I love the ruffled edge. And I need to get some of these pretty blue balloon flowers growing from seed. Also, I know that it can be done. I don't know why mine didn't come back. Of course, I did not put them over there in my, this is what I call my seed box, because I do start seed in it, and it's easier to keep it watered and keep an eye on it. You can see at the end of it up there where that's where my Bells of Ireland, where I got my first Bells of Ireland started. And then this year I just put petunias in it, or I had them in there last year, and I sprinkled their seed all in, and it just filled out this year. And then the pretty little blue Chinese forget-me-not. And are just looking great. And there's some of the leaves the hail knocked off. But what I was going for to show you is, and that's not coming into focus, but there's some little buds on this that'll soon be blooming. And this is a pretty little blue flower. And this one also is blue, which I don't see any buds on it right at the moment, but I hope to. This is such a pretty little plant. I definitely want to get to show this to you. It looks like butterflies in flight when it blooms. And this is another little coleus that needs clipping back. It's going to cover my little cherub up in there. It looks like the hail maybe took this one out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was hail damage right there that did that. But I was also going to point out that this bacopa is doing good here. I hope it continues to do that. And I just noticed that after I clip this copper plant back, you can see this pretty little coleus right here. And I guess that copper plant protected it from getting all the hail where it took its leaves and shredded them, because it still looks pretty good. So I took a little nap today, which was much needed, I think. But I feel a little better, and I got out, and it was really no problem at all to find places for those little plants. Here's one of them. That's a verbena. I have no idea what color it is, but sometimes surprises like that are nice in the garden. And there's one of the little vinca or periwinkles that I put in. Let me see, I'll show you some more here just in a bit as I get around to it. So here's where some of them went. This little pot is looking pretty scraggly, even though this is my beautiful calabachoa in bright yellow and white, although as you can see it's scraggly too. So I put two little periwinkle, one on either side of her, and I'm thinking there's one in purple and the other one in a kind of a peach color, and I'm thinking that that's going to help her little pot to look a lot better too. This little pot got one of the verbena and one of the periwinkle put in it, and this one's kind of having a rough time. It's had snails, and actually when I was working on the pot I found a slug, a snail without a shell. But I'm hoping I'm not going to have too much trouble with those things. I actually hate those things. I hate things I didn't ever know I would hate once I started gardening, like roly-polies and snails. They're destructive. No matter what anybody else tells you, I guarantee you they can be very destructive. So, and this is a pot that has asters in it, pretty purple asters, so they look to me like they're dying. I went ahead and clipped the tops of them off, and I don't know if that's the result of snails that they're looking like that or what, but both of these pots are asters, and they both look terrible. But this is another place I put a couple of the periwinkle, one on either side of this bright redhead coleus. This is supposed to have been my blueberry, which it's just not gonna live. It's already dead, I believe, but I kept it in there just in case. But I did go ahead and fill the pot up with some of the periwinkle and verbena. I put a couple more of the periwinkle in this little pot right here. This is the back part of my little angel in the cone planter, and it was looking a little scraggly. It was still pretty, but I think this will fill it up and make it look really pretty once it puts its root down and begins to fill out some. Then the main flowers went here in this little pot, which the hail had actually beat up some of the petunias that were in here, and there were bulbs also in here, and the bulbs are gone for the season, and the tops were brown, so I went ahead and cut those off and put my pretty burgundy spike with those burgundy celosia, and if that will fill out and come showing through the burgundy spike there, I think that's going to look really good. So I ended up with my thoughts a little more together. Not, I know that there's still, the thing is, if you do what you feel in your heart that the Lord wants you to do, and you know that you're doing your part, then it's up to God and other people to do the rest. So you just have to do your part, and if you're doing the will of the Lord, and you're happy with yourself and happy with your Savior and can feel His presence and His love in your life, which I definitely do. I know that He loves me. I feel His love. I feel Him helping me in the garden, even on those times when I feel like it's to no avail, like today. But even just to come out here, just me and Him, this is a wonderful place to be. I love to be in the garden with Him and see the beauty that He wanted. He wanted to create Himself a garden, the Garden of Eden. But then I guess He knew we wouldn't appreciate anything if it was just given to us. We had to get out here in the hot and work for it before we'd know how to appreciate it. Maybe that's part of His reason. But I know it's just because we fail. We just fail. I know I fail. I've felt today. And sometimes you don't have that faith like you should have it for the things you want and believe in. But I don't know. It's just once you get a little bit rested, our bodies get tired. We're not in our heavenly body yet, and sometimes we just can't do everything we'd like to do in this body without getting tired and depressed and discouraged. But the Lord is there, and it's so good to feel Him and know Him and feel His love and know that He cares for us. And just look around at His beauty helps you to realize that. Of course, it doesn't help any that it's later. Doesn't hurt any that it's later in the evening, and it's not quite as hot out here right now. That I sometimes can't get everything done just when it's cool in the evening, and I have to get working when the heat just affects a person, and so I get discouraged. But the Lord has been with me today. I feel His mighty power, His love, and His mercy, and just all the goodness of God, and I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for the garden He's given me. Even if I did have to work for it, it could be the same way as some of the other things in my life that I work for and just don't really seem to come together. But He's made it to come together. He's made it to be beautiful. And I know there were many times when I first started this garden that I felt like it wasn't going to ever come together and be a garden that some people could, because a lot of times people want to see the worst in you, and they want to believe that you could never do anything, even if the Lord did put it in your heart, and they have doubts about that. But actually, I just don't know His will. I don't know His thought process, but we cannot know the mind of Christ. So only He knows that, and He knows each of our hearts. So I'm just happy that He does, and happy that He loves me, and happy that He's given me this much. And I do hope for some success, and as well as my own pleasure in the garden. And I hope that you can enjoy this, that I can find people that truly do enjoy this and walk in it with me as we go through the garden scrolls, and enjoy the process of it changing and growing and filling out and becoming beautiful. And then again, like when we have those things like the hail that shreds everything, and we have to kind of trim it back and start back over again. But sometimes we have to do that in our lives. But God never fails. Remember that old song that Jimmy Dean used to sing about, or something about a traveler that had been on missions for the Lord and came back, and a movie star was just greeted and loved and made over, and he said, why, Lord, why when I come home is it nothing for me? And the Lord spoke to his heart and said, you're not home yet. So we have a reward. The Lord will not leave us any more than he will not let those that harm us someday get their reward too, or their, he says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. So we just have to leave those things in his hands and let him take care of everything, and know that he does it so well. We won't have to worry about how it gets done. He'll take care of it, and he'll take care of us, and I believe he'll take care of my heart's desire in this garden, and just help me enjoy it, or I'll pare it down to where I can enjoy it. And as long as I'm walking with him, I may have days when I don't feel good, but I'll always be happy to be with him. I know I've had some days where I would laugh and say I don't feel like I'm in God's jurisdiction anymore, but honestly, even if he does give control to some bad people at some time, he's still got the ultimate control. He's still going to take care of everything. It's still all in his hands. So I'm preaching to myself, I know, because I'm the one that got down today, and I don't see sometimes where all your work is going, where all my work is going, and to what avail. But I know the Lord does know. He knows. I think I put pretty much everything. There might have been 2 of the periwinkle that I put in little pots back here in the back, but I found a spot for almost everything in the front yard before I even came to the back. So it was not nearly as hard to find a spot for those little plants as I was feeling like it would be when I didn't want to get out here in that heat. And I'm glad I didn't, because it didn't really take that long at all to put them in once I got going tonight. And it's just a very pleasant evening right now. It'll be getting dark before very long though. But just appreciative of his love and mercy. And I'm appreciative of all the beauty that he's set around me to just enjoy. Lord, help me keep it pretty until this fall, when we have some prettier days to just really be out here and just really enjoy it. My little golden, I think it's called Lemon Boy tomato is gone. It just didn't make it. So that's just the way things go sometimes. Just got to look around at all the things that did make it and that are thriving and looking beautiful. About looking beautiful. Look at this. Let me get out there where I can get it better for you. I just now saw that this was blooming. Isn't that pretty? Also, we had watermelon today, and so I put the rinds out here in the garden because they attract the butterflies, and I like seeing the butterflies in the garden.